everyone, and welcome to the show. It's what you've all been waiting for. Let me contact my sound department and see if everything is ready on their end.
It's a lot of niggas doing it, how many do you know? Consistency the only thing between you and your goals. Compare yourself to others, it feel like you going slow. You versus yourself, then you kicking down the door.
So I moved to Phoenix all the way from Detroit about 3 years ago. Like, actually, probably it'll be a couple weeks ago, in 2019, October. And honestly, I don't think I ever moved back to Detroit. In this video, I'm gonna basically give you an intro to my story over the past 3 years and even before that, related to how I've been adapting to a different lifestyle out here in this area and growing and still working with my business and create a vision to try to really build something. First and foremost, everything is different out here. From the landscapes to the people to how the streets are set up, like the weather and the customs of the area. Like I said, for me, never being to Arizona before me moving here, it was definitely a culture shock. It's basically like the Wild Wild West versus the Midwest. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so different out here. First off, it's mainly a 2 to 3 hour time difference when it comes to literally Arizona versus Michigan or Phoenix and Detroit. It's no daylight savings time in Arizona, so the clock stay the same throughout the whole year. It's a way bigger population. It's like 1.6 million people in the Phoenix area, and it's more, around 600 to 700,000 people in the Detroit area. And Detroit is more concentrated with black people. Like, it's not a race thing or nothing like that, just demographics. Like, Detroit, one of the blackest cities, like Atlanta or something like that, but really Detroit. 70% black people in Detroit going to 70% white people, and the rest people is kind of Hispanic in Arizona. Very different, like from who you see walking down the street to who you see in traffic. It's a different layout. So it's a mix of a lot of different people. It's more diverse. That's not a positive or a negative, it's just a difference. Instead of Coney Island, everywhere in Detroit, in Arizona, you'll see Mexican food restaurants, Filiberto's, Roberto's, taco trucks, like all type of stuff like that. You'll see like the corn man, or like the I don't know what they call it. It's like a cart where he got chips and snacks, and they sell elotes. Elotes is like corn topped with the hot Cheetos. You probably seen that. Or they have mango slices with chili powder, like, some exotic stuff like that. It would be like Mr. Softy in Detroit, but in every neighborhood pretty much, where it's, more kids and stuff, I guess. That's just as far as the food. Like, it's more fast food restaurants, because I say after 8 p.m., it's hard to get food like that you would really grub on besides fast food, like Burger King, McDonald's, Jack in the Box, Whataburger. They open 24 hours, but most places closing by 10 o'clock. Another thing that's different is you don't even need a gun license in Arizona. You really just gotta be a resident, meaning like, have ID and stuff. I'm not promoting no guns. I do, believe in the Constitution or whatever, but I'm just naming differences. Like in Michigan, you have to get a license to carry a pistol and whatnot. Arizona, you just go to the pawn shop. Like, it's actually, that's why I say the Wild Wild West, because everybody and their mama strapped up out here. Be safe out there. Another thing is the hood, an area that you would think is a hood area would be right next to an area that's more clean looking and suburban, or people that make more money might live. The fact that it's a newer city, it's mixed up. Like, it's not as traditionally laid out that you would see in an older city like Detroit. It's a newer city. It's constantly growing. In Detroit, you'll see a pattern where it's going to be a church, it's going to be a neighborhood store, it's going to be a certain pattern. If you see one building, you'll see this one. It's kind of similar in Arizona, but it's a lot of the same stores every mile or so, or, throughout the neighborhood centers. You'll have a Walmart, you'll have a McDonald's, you're going to have the same thing. It's a lot of Walmarts, it's a lot of fast food restaurants. You don't got to drive as far to go to some of those bigger department stores. They make them a little bit more accessible. Kind of, how I would describe it. So in Detroit, you can really get to most places you need to go within like 15 minutes. So anything longer than that kind of would seem like an unnecessary drive. I would say In Arizona, it take longer time to get a shorter distance. You look at the GPS and you'll really be surprised about how long it would take you to get 5 miles down the street, for instance. Depend on the time of day, but it'd be a lot of traffic. It'd be a lot of traffic once it gets in motion. So in Arizona, a 30-minute drive is like average. Like, be glad if it's less than 30 minutes. The landscape in Arizona is overall different. So it's not a lot of trees and grass and, you know, greenery that you'll be used to seeing. It's more like palm trees, cactuses, gravel front yards, some bushes, but it's a desert biome. So you're going to see the dry plants. What I would say is, it's not like people don't got grass in their front yard, or if you're coming here and you want a house with a front yard, that you won't be able to find it, but it's less common. And I would assume that you got to pay more money to have amenities like that, because it don't naturally grow out here as much. They have like pipelines under people's front yards that'll be flooded sometimes, because that's the only way for them to keep that grass alive. Or you get turf, whatever. It's a movie I seen. It's actually called Arizona. They was painting the grass green. So really, you just get out, you live. So that's specifically to the valley or the Phoenix area, but they do have forest areas, like green areas up north Arizona, like Flagstaff, and you know, it's different. Arizona is a state with, I would say, all different biomes. So like greenery, desert, they got lakes, they got water, but it's hot. It's very hot. It's hot for the majority of the year. You would think you'll be outside enjoying the weather, but really it's just like, we be inside most of the summer. Like, even if your apartment got a pool, the pool will probably be not refreshing as the AC. So, you know, that 100-degree weather, it really get to you. But that's just me coming from Detroit. The similarities I see is not many. Detroit is real close to Canada, and Arizona is real close to Mexico. They both close to another country. Like, I can't really say too much that I say that's similar, aside the fact of a lot of people that I meet here are from the Midwest. They're from Detroit, Chicago, Milwaukee. That's another reason why I'm even making this video, because there's a connection there between people moving from areas like Detroit to Arizona. Like, if you found this video, you're probably one of those people. When I first moved to Arizona, I was staying with family in like the Gilbert, Queen Creek area, and that's like 40 minutes to 50 minutes outside of the main Phoenix area. Like, it's a big separation. You drive through Tempe and Mesa, which is towns in Arizona, and then you'll get to like Gilbert, Queen Creek. If you look at a map, you'll see it's weird how they got it. I first stayed in Queen Creek area, Gilbert. Then after a while, I moved into the Phoenix area. That's the area I be in, the Phoenix metro area. And like I said, I grew up in Detroit my whole life, so I never lived outside of Wayne County. This is not like, oh, I'm a traveler, or I be moving different states. Like, no, I never lived outside of Detroit. If it ain't 313-248-586, you know, I don't really know much about it. 4820 something, I don't know nothing about it. So I don't really get into detail about the benefits that getting outside of your hometown really could bring. Now, that's not to say I don't miss Detroit and everything that come with staying in the city, but it's something that moving outside of your hometown, stepping outside of your comfort zone, it really give you a new perspective on life that might change you and that might help you grow. So yeah, like, I grew up mainly like 6 Mile and Greenfield area, and then when I got a little bit older, I moved to like Southwest Detroit, like 4th Street Outer Drive area. So like almost Allen Park and Melvindale, all that, but not really, right by the freeway. So I never lived outside of Michigan for no extended period of time. I did live, I would say live, quote unquote, in Las Vegas for about a month after I dropped out of school and just, you know what I'm saying, thought I was just about to, you know what I'm saying. But we'll talk about that in a whole nother video. Naturally, it was a huge adjustment moving to a state I never been to before, all the way across the country. But I really had to adapt without letting the environment change who I truly am and the goals that I really had in life. As an artist, I had to realize that if I want people to connect with me, I gotta open up and tell my story. I deal with life issues just like the next person. And in these past few years, I've been putting in a lot of time on improving my mindset so that my life can manifest in the ways that it should. Now, I'm not about to sit here and act like I just packed up all my stuff and was like, I'm about to move to Arizona and just drove all the way across the country, because it wasn't even like that. It wasn't like a decision out of impulse or just a lone decision that nobody else knew that I was about to do. My family had actually been planning something similar to this for a while. Even though I didn't live in the same house as like my mom and dad per se, our family tends to try to make these bigger decisions together. You know what I'm saying? You know, pray together, stay together. You know what I'm saying? So I pretty much only be talking about my personal experience, because the other members of my family had different experiences when it comes to moving from Detroit to Arizona. It's always some way to get a job. It's always some way to involve yourself in self-improvement or building to, you know, get what you want out of life.
Gotta go. I put money before clout, that's something you gotta know. Fuck what other niggas doing, dummy missions on the flow. I'm somewhere in my business meeting on a boat. Strategic, niggas telling tales I don't believe in. My bitch